spreading all over the world. I'm Silke Hemming, and I'm head of the greenhouse technology team of Wageningen University and Research. And I guide you since 4 years through the Autonomous Greenhouse Challenge. I see here before me a lot of excited people in the room because they have been working very hard the last day. They had to fulfill a very difficult additional task, but we'll learn more about that later. Thanks to all our sponsors, Tencent, Biobest, Quantified, Vruchtenhill, Certon, Fluence, Lensley, Puppelman, Gebroeder Geers, and also letsgrow.com. Thanks for all their support, and give them a big applause. And first, I would like to give the word to my colleague, Stef Marais, and he will guide us to a very short summary what we have been doing, without showing too many results yet. The floor is yours.
Thanks. Yeah, hi again. I am going to try to talk a little bit slow because I was really hyped when I saw the results, and I'm still a little bit high in my energy. But here I am. Yesterday, I gave you an overview of what you have been doing over the last 2 months, and then maybe quickly for the audience at home and online that are zooming in now for the first time. Over 200 people have been working very hard on 2 online tasks, and they all want to earn one of those 5 spots, one of those 5 greenhouse compartments that they're going to control completely autonomously, no human intervention, really try to win the Autonomous Greenhouse Challenge 2024. These 2 tasks were a computer vision task, of which one you saw also yesterday, and a simulated task. And you did really well. I have just some random pictures of yesterday. I was really happy to see you all working so hard yesterday. There was as soon as we announced the challenge, I think everybody dove into their laptops or even the computers. They flew in. A lot of conversations on topic, off topic. It's very nice finally seeing all these faces behind all the teams. A very enthusiastic jury that judged all your pitches, and I saw them walking by once in a while, and they were very happy. Yeah, I think they really enjoyed. But we will hear later from the jury how they did. Just some impressions. It really looks like you guys here. I'm happy to see that you're still as enthusiastic as you were when we started yesterday. And maybe this was the turning point where things changed a little bit. It was nice to reflect on when we see all the expertises and all the introduction videos. Nobody mentioned anything about pest control, pests, insects, bugs, crop protection. So I'm really happy that we gave you an introduction, a crash course on that topic. A little bit more on that later. So yeah, it's what else do we have? People working really hard. And then, of course, these last 2 days, you learned all about sticky traps. These beautiful small insects captured by the trap eye from Biobest. And we gave you 2 images, wasn't a lot. In the end, if you did the validation, you got as many as 4 images. And with 4 images, you had to build your object detection algorithm. And yeah, you did a pretty good job. So I have some results. This was the best team. And it's really impressive what you managed to build with 4 training images. I have no idea how you did it. Maybe later we can hear a bit more on this. So I see a lot of what you see here is all the brighter colors. The bright blue are detected white flies, and the bigger flies seem to be a little bit harder because there's some overlapping bounding boxes there. But yeah, you did really good. It was another good team. They were struggling a bit with the classes that are not white flies, but still, it was looking good. Some teams had more struggles. This team, yeah. They captured some insects, but also some not. And it was a very hard problem, especially in a hackathon. In a hackathon session, a lot of things went wrong. Also on our side, the validation was a bit messy, but yeah, some teams just made a few very unfortunate mistakes, and yeah, that happens in a hackathon. But if you make an unfortunate mistake during the growth, the real growing process, then yeah, you can also not recover your plans easily. So it's just every detail has to be correct. So we see it's possible, but we definitely also saw that it was a very hard problem to tackle. And it caused some shifts as well. So yesterday I showed you this graph, where we have all every dot is a team. Here on the left is the best team. We gave them 23 points, and then on the right is the team. If you didn't participate, you got 1 point, and here this is a team. I think this is 5 points. So for this vision and the simulator task, we saw that. Yeah, there was not a strong correlation. If you perform good in the one, doesn't really say that you also perform good in the other. And we had a leaderboard of 7 teams. So shared first place and a shared. Do I say it good? 5th, 6th place. Oh, yeah, hey. So we had 4 teams in the lead and 3 teams very, very close. And yesterday it changed. It didn't make my image any clearer, though. So yeah, we see a team that performed really good on 2 tasks, performed also good on the IPM challenge, is now taking the lead. Another team that performed well, let's say average on the vision task, really aced the IPM task and now made it into the top 5. So we had a shift in leadership, which is really exciting, and so showing the importance of why you're here. Really, yesterday you could have made a change. So I'm very happy that you worked so hard, and some of you really earned all their efforts. And I don't want to hear names, but maybe people can raise hands if they think they know which team they are. I see some heavy discussions going on who could be who. And there are for the IPM challenge, there are quite a few teams that had no submission or no valid submission. So there's a bit more teams in the end that did not have a high score, even though I know they have a good they have the skills, but just the fact that it's a hectic hackathon made this really challenging. So that was my quick spoiler of what we can tell you so far before I give the word back to Silke for. Yeah, the next part of this program.
Thank you very much, Steph. So unfortunately, you have to wait a little bit more for the real results and the real ranking. Because first we have a short discussion panel where I would like to invite 2 of our sponsors. Jaap Weerheim, maybe you can come to the front from Saturn. Theo Tekstra from Fluence. And maybe we can also have you on that stage, and also and don't fall from the stage. This morning I was observing very very close things on this stage. And also our jury members, Leo Marcellus from Wageningen University, Kati Steppe from University of Ghent, and Inbok Lee from Seoul National University. So maybe I can have you all on stage. Do we fit there? Well, yeah. Don't fall off, eh? Don't fall off. That would be a pity. And because I would have some questions for you on the future of autonomous growing. We are here with a large community around autonomous greenhouses, here in the room, but also online. And there are a lot of young people, and we have to get them enthusiastic to solve the problem of sustainable horticulture in the future. And you are a little bit longer in the business, maybe Jaap the shortest, but I think it's good to discuss with you a little bit. And maybe I have a few questions. Kati, you have been in the jury also in the former edition of the hackathon. And I would be very curious to hear what did we learn from the challenge so far, and how does the topic of autonomous greenhouses link to your own research on the field of plant physiology and sensor technology? So what did you learn, and how can you implement it in your own research? And
okay, so yeah. Go to the front, okay.
Yes, you go to the front. Okay. Speakers to the front.
On the picture it was left and right, now it's back and front. Okay. Well, I saw basically an evolution in the participants with how they did the control or proposed to control for the autonomous control of greenhouses. And I think that's kind of inspired also by the evolution that we see in the AI nowadays in all applications. I think the participants did a good job to try to propose things. But of course, we also notice, and you will probably also notice, that if you really want to have an autonomous greenhouse control, that plant monitoring comes into the picture, and that's a bit a link to maybe my research domain, because we heard a lot on imaging and AI in the imaging, and therefore AI is perfectly well designed. But of course, if you want to monitor plant performance and ecophysiology and the functioning of the plant, that is more than only pictures. So you can also link it to plant sensors, functioning, sap flow, dendrometers, photosynthesis, acoustic emissions, name it. So there is many things there that generates data, which is perfectly suited for doing more AI. So I think that is a nice example. And I think also that we felt a bit on the modeling part, also the reinforcement learning that you can do, and the modeling from a perspective of AI, that is possible. But in my research, we try also to develop the mechanistic modeling to understand the underlying processes. And some of you also saw the power of combining both, and I also strongly believe that there is something to do there. But and I think the most critical thing is indeed to go from an instant observation of what the plant is doing towards then the long-term growth of the plant. I think that is still the challenge, and yeah.
Yeah, so there are 5 teams announced later. They will move to the greenhouse. Yeah. What should they do? Should they combine mechanistic models with AI models? Should they implement some expert knowledge in the algorithms? Yeah. They have to be autonomous, though.
Exactly. But, well, I think we heard the different approaches, and I think one should pursue the path that he or she thinks that is most successful. So, because you got all the same challenge, right? And we, as a jury, we did not hear the same solution from all of you. So there are different paths to reach it, and I think breakthroughs will come from things where you really believe in, and so yeah, and that can be with a combination of a hybrid model or even up to like including export knowledge. Yeah, that is up to the teams to take the challenge and go further with that.
Which sensors do they have to select from a crop perspective? What can you give them some tips from your own research?
Well, I think from a crop perspective, like I say, images, they give like snapshots, and then you have at that moment what maybe the color or the performance or the stand of the plants is. But if you have the continuous measurements, then of course you pick up the continuous signal. Then the disadvantage of that is that in an image you can have multiple plants at the same time that you can visualize, while with a plant sensor it's one plant at a time. And maybe the combination of both that you make from an image, like a continuous interpretation of the performance of the plant, could, I think, well, that is then my belief, could give a nice input in such a control strategy.
Yeah, thank you very much. So you can take over that tip or just ignore it, but it's good to hear it. Thanks, Kati.
Okay, thank you.
Maybe you can give the microphone to Leo. And Leo already is in the jury since 3 editions. You have been here on the first and the second, and also this one. And so you also, I think I give you the same question. What did you observe from the first edition until now? Not in between, because...
Well, already the first time was very exciting for me to see what the opportunities were. And now even glad to see how it is proceeding. The biggest difference what I see with the first round was the use of AI. I think that has been developed much further. It was much more a clear point in all of the presentations. Also in the first challenge, there was not so much about vision. So now there was a very clear emphasis on vision. So that's where I see the biggest change in the use of camera techniques and the AI. What I had maybe expected...
please go ahead.
Is I expect a lot of the sensors. So yes, I see more use of the RGB, or no, just in general cameras, but not yet the other sensors. So let's say the sensors that Kati mentioned. There were a few, and well, we also are a bit critical because we would say, well, those groups who use it, how robust is it? But I had expected in general more developments in the use of sensors, in particular of sensors that are already available, rather than very fancy new sensors.
So do you expect that more available or new sensors, crop sensors, need to be, will be implemented and growers will use it? So will we have a greenhouse with 1 square meter and 10 sensors on it in the future? What's your opinion?
No, not on 1 square meter. That will not be. But I do see much more sensors coming up. Sensors in general get much more cheaper. And I also don't believe in one sensors per, let's say, we can measure photosynthesis with chlorophyll fluorescence. Well, we will need cheap sensors to measure at the number of places. Because otherwise, fall detection also getting difficult. I see in particular for already sensors that are existing to be used, and that could be chlorophyll fluorescence sensors, or that could be or sap flow sensors, or sensors for weighing the plants, measuring the transpiration or the whole plant. So sensors that are available, and because I think the challenge in particular is how to make use of the sensors that are available. Besides that, in the research we will continue with developing newer and newer sensors, but I think if we could already make it such with the sensors that are available, the challenge is about the use, the interpretation.
For the grower.
For the, for the grower. Oh, sorry, for the application, for the grower in real time, and in a big greenhouses where not the researchers are walking around.
You travel a lot, you see a lot of other countries and a lot of other systems, and if you look at other growers worldwide, what do they need in the future from us as a community?
Well, what you see well, we see it now also in the Netherlands, less labor is getting available, the lower type of labor, but also the experienced growers is getting less. That's also what I see now, greenhouse horticulture, coming up in many areas in the world where there are not so many yet experienced growers. I think then it is very important what we are doing here. And then it is maybe not so, it's very, very nice to see that also in previous challenges that the autonomous greenhouse could even do it better than the grower. But if we can do it already very close to an experienced grower which often does not exist, well, where there are not sufficient people of, then we do already a great job. And I see that in particular in countries where there is not a long history of greenhouse horticulture or where there are not so many people around with the knowledge.
Yeah. So labor is one of the issues.
Absolutely.
I think we also heard that this morning. We had a sponsor presentation this morning, so I think we all agree on that part. So I think that's a good moment to give your microphone to Jaap. Because you were telling us this morning more about new growing system, future growing systems, which can save labor. And maybe you can tell the audience a little bit more about your vision and the vision of Saturn on autonomous greenhouses in the future.
Yes, for sure, Silke. I don't want to repeat what I've already told this morning, but I think the core of my message this morning was that if we want to really move towards real autonomous greenhouses, we need to dare to redesign how we grow plants and what kind of plants we grow. So the fact that now Wageningen University also says, after a few editions with, I call it traditional crops like Hawaii cucumbers and tomatoes, now says probably we should grow dwarf tomatoes in an autonomous greenhouse. That actually is a completely recognized by us. So if we want to grow to an autonomous greenhouse system, we need easy crops, and that asks for a whole new vision on breeding and selection of crops. So we shouldn't only look when we breed crops on the highest production or the best resistance and all that. That's also important, but we also need to start taking into account, okay, can this crop actually be grown autonomously? And I think that is really a new insight, and that is also something that will need time to land in the whole, and well, in the mindset of every one of us. So yeah, in order to move to autonomous greenhouses, let's redesign our growing systems from the base on.
Yeah, and you made, with the Grono system, you made a step forward for dwarf tomato production, but probably with all the crops we are growing, we have to think in a new way, and therefore we need young creative minds to do so, right?
Sure, yeah. Tomatoes is a first one, a big one, but let's let it be followed by others.
Yeah. You also are very active in Japan because of your cooperation with Denso, which is a Japanese company. Do you see large differences in the, let's say, Dutch European market and on the Japanese market in terms of grower needs? In speed of implementation of technologies and whatever. Do you see differences, and which?
Yes, we see differences, and they are significant. I think to not limit myself only to the Japanese market, but the Asian market more in general.
Yeah.
I think here in Holland we have a wealth of experience with utilizing horticulture, but this could also hinder us from embracing new developments. So if you talk to Dutch vegetable growers, they are very good in what they do. I want to be very clear on that. But because they are so good in what they do, they don't feel the need to embrace novel developments like these systems. I don't speak for everyone, but there are growers that think, okay, this is not needed because we do already a good job. And I think that is something that we don't see when we look around the world. I think it's much easier to tell, why do we need new systems? Why do we need to move to full autonomous greenhouses? Japanese people, Asian people, but also whatever around the globe, they see that perspective very well, probably better than we do as a Dutch community.
So also in the Dutch European community, rethink automation and rethink sustainability?
Sure, yeah.
Rethink production system, I hear in the back. Yeah, sure, no, okay. And I think for that you need many aspects. You need the breeding, You need different robots. And
yeah, it really asks for an integrated approach. So as technology companies, as breeding companies, but also you all probably you have your own startup in a few years' time. We need your perspective on the table in order to really come to breakthrough innovations.
Oh, I hear opening to discuss with Certon if you have a startup. Thank you, Jaap. Maybe we can shift to Theo and come look from not a complete system, but a very important part of the system.
The most important, right?
Yeah, light is one of the most important parts. We can use sunlight. If you are in the middle of a Dutch winter, that is a little bit limited. And we can use artificial light. And maybe you can tell us a little bit more how you contribute to sustainability.
Well, you know, LED lights, as we know, there's two factors behind LED lights. It's quality on one hand, and it's energy efficiency on the other. And whatever crop you're growing, you make a choice for that quality choice or for that efficiency choice. But there's always like a trade-off, right? When we started in 2012, we've specialized in full spectrum lighting. And there was a market for that, and specifically in cash crops. It was already more efficient than HPS. But if you now look at the market, there's still a market for the, let's say, lower efficiency broad spectrum, but also for the very high efficiency high red spectra. But it's not for everyone. The big challenge that we see at the moment, and specifically the possibilities you have, because when we had HPS, we had a lamp and a driver, and they were all the same, but we had different reflectors, different housings, different brands, but it was a commodity. When we started with LED, we suddenly started changing spectra and developing spectra for specific crops. And we found out really quickly that even, for example, within the tomato crop, the different cultivars have a completely different response on those spectra. So there's not one spectrum for one plant, which is a big challenge. And now we have a next curveball, because we have multi-channel, because we now give you a possibility to mix blue, green, red, far red in all kinds of combinations to make your own spectrum. And if you sell that to a customer, the first thing he says, what the hell do I do with this? How do I use it? Which colors do I use? So, I mean, the more differences you have, the more factors you have that you can change in the grow, exponentially more difficult it becomes, because everything, is a system. And you cannot look at light just as light, but you have to also look at it as a system together with climate and your plant you're growing and the cultivars you may be growing in the future that may require a different spectrum. So it's a challenge. But of course, energy efficiency is one of the biggest drivers.
Yeah. So what you say is that the growers should not only look at the choice of the LED light they are implementing, but also how they use it in time, because there is also a lot to gain for the energy efficiency, right?
There is. For example, in the summer, if you have the choice of only using red LEDs, because there's more than enough blue LEDs, you have an advantage in efficiency, because you only have to use the red LEDs, which are the most efficient. But there's another aspect that lighting can bring to a grower, specifically for autonomous growing, which is that we use things wirelessly nowadays. We have wireless systems. The last autonomous greenhouse challenge, we introduced a wireless system, and we talked about a digital ceiling in which you can combine sensors and your lighting in the same network. And through that network, you have an interface. We already have a standard lighting interface. There's a standard lighting protocol for lighting already. But you can also bring back data from your sensors in the climate computer. And so you don't have a different dashboard anymore on which you can read the values, but you also can act upon those values because they're available in the climate computer. And that's, of course, a big step towards autonomous growing.
You are originally a US-based company, not anymore, I learned, but you are still very active on the US market, North American market. I have the same question for you. Do you observe any differences in the North American, Canadian growers and the European, maybe Dutch growers, and so which?
Well, I agree with the previous speaker who said, you got to be open to new systems and new challenges and new ways of growing, where I think we're still like really high class in cultivation management in the Netherlands. We see in other countries and also in the United States sometimes that they choose a different route. and they're innovating in a different way. They're more open to change. But in general, I still think that the knowledge we export to those countries is leading in the market. There's a lot of difference in the systems that they buy because of different subsidy systems, for example. If you go to Canada, you get a subsidy per fixture, which means people buy small fixtures, like 200 watt instead of 1,000 watt, because, yeah, subsidy pays for it all. So there's these little different things that are happening, but in general, we see the same large scale, we see the same LEDs that are used, but sometimes a little bit different methods to come to result.
Thank you very much, Theo. And I would like you to give the microphone to Imbok Lee. Back to the Asian countries.
Yep.
And you work a lot with technology. You work a lot with sensors, but also with augmented reality. And if you look at autonomous greenhouses here or in Korea, what are the perspective of all these technologies?
Okay. Actually, she just kindly let me know her questions. So
but I differ a lot from the questions.
Yeah, actually, so my major is the aerodynamics and energy engineering. So, and also I belong to the agricultural engineering department. So I'm actively working for some advanced ICT technologies, especially like a virtual reality or some augmented reality and the digital twins and metaverses. And yeah, I think it's that as you know, it's the Korean government just try to develop the ICT technologies for all industries for 3 ways. One is from the technology centered convergence to the human and objective centered the convergence, and also the Korean government just to try to make develop from the point centered convergence to the space the centered. It means that we are just maybe our governments or the export or industries are very interested in the developing this kind of the metaverse or digital twins. And also last one is that the cross-cutting. So you know that this in Korea is the market is very small, but it means that it's very difficult for the industry to run the business very successfully because market is too small. So for last 10 years, our government encouraged the industries, help a lot to the industries to export our products to the other countries, especially developing countries. But actually, it's totally failed. So now they are just to choose the cross-cutting. If the one product is developed can be used in the agricultural industry, also the product can be used the other industries. So domestically, they just try to open these markets. So 3 ways. So yeah.
So this cross innovation is a very interesting one because we have a lot of technologies developed for other industries, which might be very useful for agriculture, right?
Yeah. So especially I have been developing the digital twins for greenhouse smart farm and the livestock smart farms, and there are still many things we have to solve, but I think that we can just combine the monitoring or sensing or predicting in artificial intelligence, everything. Yeah, it'll be very, very helpful for the operators, the human workers, and also to improve the productivity. Yeah.
You also mentioned it before, human-centered design. Should we do that more? Put the grower in the middle and design technologies around him?
I think so. It means that the artificial intelligence become the more important, and then but compared to the developed countries like Netherlands, in Asian countries we still just struggling with developing the artificial intelligence because of the limited reliable big data. Because we start very late, right, compared to the developed countries. So, we are really struggling. It's the researchers or industries. But as you know, there are so many several teams is from Korea and some teams from industry. They are really excellent. But
And yesterday they learned more about working with limited data, right? Now you know why.
yeah, like China or Korea is our applied industries, and the technology is very, very excellent. But especially like basic, like fundamentals research field is like big data. We don't have enough reliable the big data now. So, yeah. But anyway, we are doing our best. Industries, researchers, and the farmers too. Also, yeah.
What you can see here is the strengths of the whole autonomous greenhouse community. Different cultures, different backgrounds, different way of working. And I think that's the strongest point. We can learn so much from each other. There is always countries which are more ahead on certain areas than others. And it's nice to exchange all these things. Does somebody from the audience have some questions for the people on stage? Because that's your final opportunity to ask questions to them before we look into the winning teams.
While we are advancing these autonomous growing, and one of you mentioned the total redesign of also in the breeding and everything, does that have an impact on biodiversity? And how do you look at it?
Thanks for this interesting question. Who? Leo? Maybe?
No.
No?
Well, my answer would be no, because I think in a greenhouse the biodiversity is extremely low. Even if we have pests and diseases and a natural enemy, in my opinion, that does not really contribute to biodiversity. Where horticulture can contribute to biodiversity is we have a high yield and we do only need a very low small land area. If we need not one, well, instead of 100 hectares, only 1 hectare, well, then it means 99 hectares we can give back to nature. Yeah, we can also build cities, but that will also not contribute to biodiversity. If we get back into nature, then we contribute to biodiversity. But in my opinion, the biodiversity within the greenhouse, that's marginal, in my opinion. But maybe others have a different opinion.
Others a different opinion? No. No, all set? Thanks. Other questions? You are all excited to hear who are the 5 winning teams. I will not let you wait longer. Give a big applause to our panelists. Well, I already introduced our jury, and you saw them already yesterday. They had an important part in judging your pitches. And to announce the winners and say a few words about the learnings, I would like to give the word to Kati as head of the jury and tell us a little bit more what you did, how you did it, and what was the result.
Okay.
This is to click,
yeah,
right? And you can see everything over there.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Maybe. Good. What did we do? Well, we heard yesterday that we should have fun, and that was one part of what we had as jury. We had fun, and we were really amazed by all your contributions. But of course, we had to have some criteria to judge you, and so you were already judged on part A and part B, so being the computer vision challenge, and here you see a bit the scoring, how much points could you earn with each part, and the climate control challenge, so that was done before you came here. And then we have heard on this additional task for another 15%. And the jury, the 3 of us, we were there to evaluate your pitches, because we have heard yesterday also it's a multidisciplinary challenge, basically, so that does not only mean to be smart enough to do all these things, but also to be able to present it and to convince the jury that what you think that should be the next part, that is the next part. And so we took a couple of criteria into account. So we looked at the novelty of your proposal, the scalability, how robust it could be, the functionality, and also the timing. But that was an easy one because everybody did a good job to stay within the timing. So therefore, that was easy to score. For the rest, we had distinctions and we discussed amongst us. And of course, we also added an additional category being the bonus. So some groups impressed us in one or another way, and they got some extra points for that. So that is how we went and had an idea on who then won, in our case, part D. So I have to go now. The next slide. So what we did is, because, like I said, we were impressed by all of you, so we took the time to reflect a bit on all your performances, and I would like to invite my colleagues to join me, because we have, come up with some feedback for you in one sentence, because of course we have a lot of teams here, and we cannot take the whole afternoon, because I assume you are wanting to know who are the winners. So we will have a little bit a party of three.
Okay, please.
Okay. So we will not announce the comments in the order of the winners. We just do like the way you came in. So the first team that we saw will get the first comment. And I have the pleasure to open this one-line comment session. So the jury found that team triggers, they were clearly triggered by taking care of their plants in a very good way, and they considered the radiant thermal ratio, the irrigation, the LED. So that was their main point. Yeah. Then
second team. Mu Grow, and so we think that the super nice presentation about the biofeedback and the predictive control and reinforcement learning, and with the nice coupling of short and long-term the values. Okay.
Good. Then I continue with, and now I'm struggling how to pronounce it. Fravebot. Good. So interestingly, this group created their own synthetic data. And in that way, they got high quality data for a better optimization of the models.
Okay, then I continue with Vegemite, and they created an autonomous pipeline, but they had a clear vision that AI is there to help and not to overtake. They were one of the few given high priorities to sustainability criteria.
And next one is a giant tomato. And they highlighted the importance of a high accuracy segmentation, which improved the predictability of the control strategy.
Good. Then I continue on the tomato nuts. The tomato nuts had an interesting combination of a robust imaging together with mechanistic crop and climate models, and then using AI for the control. And also what we very much liked is that they took uncertainty seriously into account.
Okay, then I continue with deep greens, and this group did not train the AI with the simulator because they had a belief. They said, okay, they proposed that every greenhouse deserves its own model and that every AI network deserves an accurate model to train.
And AgriFusion, and they proposed the 3 AI modules with the plant as a central point, and they are the only team that indicated concretely what AI does do if the plant is deviating from what is expected. Yeah.
Okay, then we go to ETH Agriculture and ML. And this team considers agriculture as a big optimization problem and therefore cast autonomous greenhouses as a tractable control problem. And they developed a flexible and dynamic interface.
Okay, then I have the Guardians of Greenhouses, and they showed how well a team can work and benefit from many team members, which was 27. They are seeking a breakthrough, which is also interesting, rather than a stable solution.
Next team is a Cyber Green. Interestingly, they applied the imitation learning, leading towards superhuman performance.
Okay. Then a special word about smart agro, and maybe you have noted that we as a jury, we are quite enthusiastic about the work we are doing, and we also as a jury had a lot of fun. And what we liked very much all with you is that also all the teams here showed really enthusiasm for what they are doing. However, Smart Agro was definitely the most enthusiastic group, which really took the fun factor into account. And they are also looking for a solution out of the box, which is as simple as possible.
Okay, I will do that. Okay, next team is Ideas, IDEAS. Personally, I like this name very much. And the team Ideas was indeed full of ideas, and they used the climate and growth and economic models to inspire their optimizer using the DDPG, which is a deep deterministic policy gradient. Yeah.
Okay, then I continue with I see you, and yes, we saw you, and we saw also the AI, and your target was basically to be as good as the expert, and you were thinking at big and large scales.
Then we go to Texas AI Agriculture, and here the presenter, he has really good courage. Just finishing his PhD last Friday in Texas. So yes.
Over there.
So where are you? So that was last Friday in Texas, now being here in the Netherlands, and he demonstrated how he used the ideas of the Autonomous Greenhouse Challenge in his PhD.
Okay, and then the last one, Greenwave. So they prioritized models for different growth stages, and the models were hybrids of rule-based and AI models. So that concludes, gentlemen, our one-liners. Okay.
Give a big applause to all teams.
Okay, then we continue to the...
You have to let people have a look at the screen.
Yes.
Oh my.
Okay, good. I should also be careful that I then now don't drop it. Yeah, but I will. Yeah, maybe the mic. Voilà. Okay, excellent. Okay, the most important, well, for us to announce, yeah, for you the most important was doing the work, of course, but for us the most important point is now to have the honor to announce the results of the jury. And so you see here indeed the top 5 winners, the scores. Okay, so you don't know yet who will be who, but at least the scores and also the distribution amongst the different parts. And like Steph has indicated, yeah, it's nice also to see that there were some changes due to the last 2 items. So I don't think we have like this. Okay, so I will start with the 5th place. And the 5th place goes to, and now we have to count for a minute. Yeah. The 5th place goes to tomato nuts.
I'm from the team tomato nuts. They are
Please, group, come here, the whole group.
Days at WUR University, bringing up together outstanding talents from China Agricultural University and companies
Captain here.
and research institutions.
And for the captain, congratulations.
Thanks, Leo.
Okay, thank you so much.
Team pictures, maybe we can just
So the next place, that is number 4, will go to Team Trigger. Congratulations.
We are the team of 10 members, each possessing expertise in data analysis, AI, climate control, greenhouse management, and crop cultivation.
Well done. Congratulations. Okay. Now we are for place 3. And for that place, I would like to invite Team AgriFusion. Congratulations.
Congratulations! Yay!
Okay, now it gets exciting. 2 more places. Who thinks? Who is the second place? Any idea? Okay, then I will announce the second place goes to Mugro. Congratulations.
Sustainable, profitable, and productive greenhouses. From DU Delft, we have Koti, Sebastian, Ioannis, and Salim, experts in data-driven modeling, optimal control, and AI.
Well done. Okay, then final spot. Final spot. And maybe before I announce the final one, I forgot to mention, and therefore I will do it now, because maybe after announcing the first one, I forget again. You see the total scores, and you see that there is not a very high deviation between the teams. So that means that basically all that win here and came in front, they did more or less equally good. But yeah, there is up to the commas some possibility to rank you. So having said that, we come to the winner of this challenge, the 4th Autonomous Greenhouse Challenge. And for the year 2024, it is Ideas. Congratulations.
Hello, my name is Xia. I'm a PhD student, majored in agricultural engineering at Zhejiang University in China. Our team is Ideas. We have 6 members.
So, congratulations.
Okay. No?
Okay. Just stay here. Stay here. And this is the total ranking board. You can have a look at that. While I would like to give a small thank you also to our jury members that they took their time and, well, to have some fun. Kati, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Inbox, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
May also for you, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Maybe I can have your final attention. Well, this is the final ranking. There is also some underlying scores, which we will send to you. But I would also like to tell you a little bit more about the next steps. I will keep that short, then we can celebrate. We are now here, 7th of June, for the hackathon. And we have selected 5 teams which get our greenhouses directly there in the back. And from 2 September onwards, the crop will be in the greenhouse and we will grow for real. And you already learned growing for real might be a little bit different than growing virtually. On the 16th of January, put that already in your agenda, we will have a final event. We will invite you here again, and we will announce the final winner of the last 5 teams of this edition. In between, a lot of things still have to be done. A lot of things have to be prepared by the 5 teams and also by us on our side. So we want the teams to send their list of sensors by beginning of July. We need to have the sensors available physically here on our location, not later than the 1st of August. We need some first version of the control a script half of July, and the final version somewhere half of August. And after 1 week before the challenge really starts, no changes are not allowed anymore. You will get greenhouses with all the different actuators, all the different sensors, and own sensors of teams can be selected, and we will install them in the greenhouses. You have to take care of the crop, including spacing decisions, and of course, optimize net profit at the end. These are the greenhouses we will be using. It will be randomized by the jury which team gets which greenhouse compartment. There will be tables inside. And with that, I also want to thank again all our sponsors. Tencent make it possible that we can facilitate the whole challenge. Saturn also that we can use some of their data in the online challenge. We also would like to thank Fluence Gevoeligeers for putting LED systems into the system and being able to control them. You will be able to control irrigation. For that, we have sensors from Quantified. And we also want to thank Purpleman and Lensley for sustainable pots and substrates. You will be using the variety Vruchtenhulp presented this morning. And you will have to make smart spacing decisions based on camera images. There will be a whole interface involved over there, and all the information will go via letsgrow.com. Also thanks to them. And you already learned it. You will have to deal with some pests and the biological control of that, using some of the products and solutions sponsored by BioBest. Last but not least, the 5 winning teams are invited on stage of the Green Tech next Tuesday. I hope at least part of you are still there. We have a session on the Autonomous Greenhouse Challenge, 11th of June, somewhere after lunch. On the technology stage, we will present the challenge, and we will give some room to the teams, the 5 winning teams, to present themselves. So maybe after we close down this session, we can discuss a little bit more into detail about that part. For all the others, please come and listen to all of us and be excited about the whole community and present the whole community. With that, I would like to end. Thank you very much for your attention, and I think it's party time. Thank you.